The thing is, we're all working class guys.
Agents.
Guys. But we've got morals. We've really got morals. We really do. Because we've been through what we've all been through, we won't allow that to happen at our hands to anybody else.
Just having a conscience.
Yeah.
Basic, fundamental, you know.
Absolutely.
The right way to be. It's not. What we're dealing with here is, and we've spoke about it before, is psychopaths. And once a lot of the people who are struggling a little bit with all this, go and research psychopaths. Once you understand psychopaths, what they are, and cults, that will really open up a lot of this for you.
Yeah, because they'll never turn around and say, they wouldn't do that.
That's it.
They'd never say that ever again.
No, which is the main
comeback. Because they'll know, actually, they would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't they? Yeah. Once you understand the thought process that these psychopaths go through, you know they will do it again. They will do it.
These deeply manipulative people have got no scruples. They have got no inner dialogue. What they do is, we spoke about it before, they will do anything to get what they want. Literally anything. That's what makes them so dangerous. Yeah. They will do anything, and they won't think twice about it afterwards. They won't have any regrets. They won't feel any emotion. That's because they ain't got any emotions, and that enables them to be that kind of person, to be a full-time actor who pretends to be the complete opposite of what they are. They're not just trying to hide what they are. They're out in public pretending to and playing a role of being the exact opposite, inverted version of what they really are, which helps them to hide in plain sight. Yeah. And that's what they're always terrified of being outed. That's why they're so scared of us. That's why they've said everything they've said about us. Because if we didn't bother them, if it didn't touch the sides, they wouldn't say it, would they?
No, and
we could do what we want.
There's proof in that with other like YouTubers that are out in, like Charlie Woods. I mean, MC Crew of Truth also said that, well, Charlie Woods accused him of being the same thing. You know, it's also
boring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is crap.
Anything to deflect
the record.
They actually threatened to send some people round to his house. They also said it to that Chris Rice as well. We're going to send people round to your house, sort you out. Because when you out someone, the best way they try to do it, like in we've got the best lawyers. We're going to sue you. You're going to be thrown in jail or whatever. We heard all that shit. The same scripts. And that's why when you said syndicate, it's like, are they all part from the same kind of grift school or something? Because they all seem to be doing the same shit. Yeah. It seems to be the same pattern, doesn't it?
But they've got no loyalty to anyone but themselves. No, exactly. So they always shit on each other. They always do it. Yeah. It'll never last long because it's not in their nature to team up with somebody long term to achieve a goal. They're only thinking about themselves. And they all know that that's how they all think because they're one themselves. They know how they think, so they know how that one thinks. And so there's no trust at all between any of these people. They pretend, and they're all playing roles. They're all trying to manipulate each other, basically to go to the top, to see who's the best. And that's how the world is run by psychopaths, because that's what's been happening for such a long time. Yeah. It's a power struggle.
For me, the conversations like this always go back to a text message chat I had with somebody who left Thomas's inner circle. And she said, he said, they said, this is a problem, having a drink when you're doing this kind of thing. It was said to me that all the information comes from one source. Yeah. And I had to double check when they put that.
I've always
put that. I was surprised, and it took me a few minutes to sort of process it, to think they all get the information comes from one place. And she started the conversation went on a little bit, maybe a few minutes longer, where she said that they're all given the same information. Right. Some slightly differ.
They twist it to suit their own little narratives as well.
Yeah, so there's one person dishing it out. So for instance, Thomas will get a set of information. Kim will get a set of information.
Like new bullshit.
Charlie,
ideas.
Fucking knobhead, will get a set of information. And Simon Parks will get a set of information. For instance, these are all for instances. Just people we've mentioned tonight. Theirs will differ slightly to Thomas's. Theirs will differ slightly, very slightly to Kim's. And so on. But the base of it is the same. It's just how they present it. So it's the same information coming from one.
To make it more credible, isn't it?
Do you think they actually pay for some of it as well?
No, I don't. I don't think they do.
No, do you think it's getting free?
I think they think they're getting intel.
Yes,
that's the intel shit. Yeah, I'm
and they
off
are
the head of everybody. My sources say,
yeah,
you're right. Because I think didn't Tiny say once, I don't get all my intel just from Kim, but then he's put no intel out since Kim's gone, so he was getting it from her.
Yeah.
So whatever she would get.
So maybe but he was getting info before Kim.
Yeah, he was, but I
was always around. No, she was always around. Just Christy Adams, remember?
When he left Cosmic Voice, he was in with Kim, and Kim was giving him intel.
But she was around in Cosmic Voice.
Yeah, she was, but he was getting intel from Drake
and sub intel.
I want to start shit today.
And it's operational. So we can't tell you much more.
So
he was, when he was in Cosmic Voice, Kim was in there, of course, Christy Adams.
Yeah.
But he'd been in there long before Kim had gone in there, because he was getting intel from Drake. Because he was only like, the anchor man, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And he had,
that's all he was.
Yeah.
You did say anchor then, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't say the bad word, no.
Clear that up.
Not with a W. But and you had, of course, Keenan on there. And I don't think, they always mention Wilcott, but I don't think he ever went on there, Cosmic Voice.
Yeah. I don't recall. Done an interview with Drake, didn't he?
Yeah, just Drake, wasn't it?
Tiny wanted him to go on there.
Yeah,
he tried his hardest to wind him up, didn't he?
But he said that Wilcott was in the background with Keenan, and they were like,
yeah, he was
friends.
In the background.
Yeah.
When you look at it, when you look, well, again, when you look back,
it's a good job this is not video. Yeah.
When you look back in hindsight, going back 10 years and plus, right, at all this, if you look at all the characters, personalities, and people around it all, there's not many that you can say have stood the test of time, is there?
No.
There's not many. There's a couple of names. I'm not even going to mention them right now because I'm still not sure on them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The ones who have actually spoke out against them, but I'm not saying they're whiter than white.
No, because we
But
can't.
if you look at the whole circle of personalities in that part of the alternative media who have all kind of done things with each other and slagged each other off, it paints a picture, doesn't it? It tells you that that most of them, it sounds like, are all coming from the same place, getting the same kind of information, and they're all battling each other.
Yeah, and the ones that are out in them don't.
That's
the ones that are out in those that are swindling don't attack each other because we don't need to.
It's like they get the same information and then they go, look, boss, I'm going to be the best with this information. I'm going to twist it this way. I'm going to get more viewers than anyone else. But then when somebody else is flying up the rankings like a Jordan Sather, because he was one of the characters, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Immediately they jump on him. It's the same information.
I like it. Yeah.
They're saying the same things.
It's not a big merry-go-round.
So they are having a competition, aren't they? Based on the same information. So that tells you that they are trying to vie for a position in the alt media.
Yeah, we don't like that person being like at that level, so I'll attack you.
It's like, here you go, kiddies. Here's the information. Let's see who's the best. Let's see who can please me the most.
So the question is, where does the original source come from?
Well, it could be the CIA. It could be someone rogue from the CIA.
It's got to be, innit?
Who's taking backhanders off these people.
Yeah.
Or is it not even rogue? It's just, let's distract them.
Just to distract all these people.
Keep these people busy, because if they're not busy believing in fairy tales, what are they going to do when they're sitting on a bloody, a load of guns and ammunition? Mm-hmm. What are they going to do? Got to start getting angry.
Yeah, when the time's right.
All these characters that we're talking about all serve a purpose, and it ain't for the people. No. It's for the people that we're fighting against as well. Not just themselves. They're actually serving a purpose for the cabal and people like that. Because
with the lure of personal gain. For me, it's all about money for me. I can't get beyond the point of them doing it for any other reason mainly for money.
But I think we know that a lot of the things they do are multi-pronged. They don't just do things for one reason. I always look for more. And I think what they do is, it's all about the money, but at the same time, they're serving a good purpose for people who don't want people who are on the road of path of knowledge, true knowledge, to get any further. They want to stop them at a certain level. And that's why they're all allowed to continue doing what they're doing, because that's what they're doing. Yeah. They're affecting people's paths really bad. You know,
I mean, Christ almighty, they're taking them down the track out the back there and riding them around in the woods, and they're ending up absolutely nowhere, aren't they?
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Just think of the fairy tales they're told. That's the path they're going down.
That's it. Get them in, confuse the shit out of them, stop them going any further and becoming a threat to us. And everything will be okay. You can continue doing whatever you want. Yeah. Plus, you'll make a bit of money at the same time. Yeah. None of them have been nicked, have they? No. Who out of all these names have actually...
But that's what a lot of these questions we get. Well, if they're that bad, why aren't they in prison? And you say, yeah, that is the question.
Yeah.
Why?
It's got to be because the original source is from, well, we all know who. And it is, the whole purpose of it is to keep people distracted and occupied while they carry on
taking down dead-end streets like he always used to project on us. Yeah. That all these other alternative media people. I mean,
this is what
again, he was hiding in plain sight. Now. That was his style.
They're all driving down the same dead-end street, all of them.
Yeah.
And then they've now ramped it up with the Q thing. It's now bordering on mainstream now. Yeah. Innit? That's what it's looking like.
Well, again, she's one determined motherfucker, isn't she? Let's be honest.
Who?
She is really determined. She's got such thick skin, and she is heading for that fucking finish line, and she doesn't care what happens.
Yeah.
And she's more ruthless than the others.
She's gone. She's battered us aside. Yeah, and said what she wants to say about us.
She won't say nothing anymore.
What I'm getting to is...
Yeah, she's talked about us and that's enough, whereas Tiny, he's totally different. Mr. Thomas Williams loves himself that much.
He's got the ego. He needs to feed the ego, yeah.
Team Bubba, ignore them.
Yeah.
Don't let Tiny.
He's gone off track with it. It's more about him and he's not thinking about the goal.
Yeah. She's gone, fuck
she
off.
Is.
I'm on. And she's channeled and she knows where she's going or where she wants to be.
Yeah, she's got a direction.
We're just one of them little flies she wants to swat on the way. But what she hasn't realised is that I've got one of them little battery zappers, right, for killing flies.
What?
Do you know what
say that on there?
Do you know what?
Cruelty.
Do you know what he does? It stuns them.
Yeah.
And they go, and they drop to the floor.
And then they fly off again.
And then they get up and fly away.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what Team Bubba is.
Yeah. We will zap you.
No. We're the fly.
All right.
We keep getting up.
We're going to zap you, Kim.
Yeah.
You won't
attracted
get out
to shit. Yeah. Can't keep away from shit.
No.
But yeah, that's what I think. That's what the big differences between those two. But
there's a massive difference.
He didn't learn enough,
between the two. Yeah, you're right. And that's why she couldn't stand Tank at the end. I don't know who the next person is. I mean, it's got to be bloody Thomas Melville, isn't it? That's it.
I get a feeling that Tank's ruled by his dick.
Yeah, and some other things we've heard about.
Honestly, I do, yeah. From what we might have heard, I do actually think that that's how it works. He's raking some coin in, and if he can get his hand away at the same time, fantastic.
Yeah, I think you'll probably get another Kim saying that he didn't like it, the fact that he wanted to bed me, like she said Thomas did. And this is the thing, she's got, like, I don't know, like a Medusa thing over men. Yeah. You know, she's got a power.
She is not an unattractive woman. You've got to admit, every man in here, us four, and the CIA operatives who are hanging out of cupboards here, every single one of us must say that she's not an ugly woman, and she has got an air about her. And I think that is what draws people in.
She's definitely got something.
When you don't see it for what she really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's
I just see a really evil, cretinous type of person.
Yeah, ugly bastard.
Yeah. He's had enough cops to put a handrail around the boat.
But she's got... That's how she's got... Her second commands are men.
You can always fucking bring a scouser to bring it down to that level. Gotta love you.
Put it round the handrail round the cruise liner.
But that's why she targets men to be her spokesperson.
Can we put this anywhere?
It won't end up on YouTube. It'll be bad.
Oh, why not? Have we had any
I don't know.
against us?
I don't care. It'll go on BitChute. So. I'll do a little video saying, we've done a podcast. Head over to BitChute because it's a bit X-rated.
Super. This is the best one we've ever done.
Poor old Kim.
Yeah. Old Kim. I don't know. Her face has changed so much. I really do believe she's had some surgery.
She's been cloned.
Well,
it's not the original Kim.
That's what Thomas said.
Oh, yeah.
Got to believe what he said. She's been replaced.
Yeah.
Because
that's just the way of edging your bets, isn't it?
Lads, even Marduk's had a go, you know.
He obviously didn't
try to kill her, but she knocked him down with a psychic power. 14-foot Royal Draco.
We should start calling him Muddy Fox. Best bike in town.
Marduk, you pulled out before I came. Your head's got to come off.
Agent.
I mean, that's where, that Chris Rice says, I think when she said that, I asked Kim what happened with Marduk, and he said, I heard that you killed him, and she went, yeah, I cut off his head and ripped out his heart. He goes, I just couldn't see it. She's like, he said, I'm like 5 foot, I don't know, 10 or whatever, and she's like 5'4". Because this big massive Draco, and she cut his head off with what? A butter knife?
How can she keep a straight face when she say that?
But that's because she's, I don't know, for someone to say that and be so believable, she's a psychopath.
This is what I mean about her. She is good at what she does.
I do think more and more about her that she's really delusional as well.
Yeah, she's got to be.
I don't think she's clever.
Oh, hang on.
I think we're giving it a bit too much credit. I think
technical hitch here. What the CIA agent has crashed the bloody studio setup. I need another beer, son.
We're obviously going into some area they don't want us to talk about.
As a spy, Cat has attacked the system.
It's come up on screen now because there was a problem with your last action. If you think this is a bug, please tell us exactly when it occurred.
He's the bug.
It was the cat.
He's the bug.
Whoever's controlling him, I'm telling you, they've sent him a remote command.
Tiny's got him on remote control.
Yeah.
Oh, it crashed the system.
There you go. That might give some credibility to Tiny. That then.
I think we should get the crossbow out.
I'm not sleeping in the same room as that cat.
But that's really...
Oh dear. Sorry.
Dad. Thank you.
How many have you had, Larry? Bloody hell.
Number 6.
Don't be calling me by my real name now.
Number 6. Tracy, number 6.
Oh dear.
Crikey. So it just shows uncut this is.
Yeah,
right, we ain't cutting shit.
Team Bubba X-rated.
Brilliant, yeah. We're going to have to come up with a title for this. This is superb.
It'll have to be X-rated. Uncut X-rated. Straight from the cut.
Yeah.
Straight from the cuff. Yeah. We say it as it is.
Yeah. From the hip.
From the hip, yeah.
Shoot from the hip.
Yeah.
Well, we had a good time, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we still are, actually.
So this is a long enough video, Kim, for you to know who we are now. We're giving you loads of little hints who we are. The whole of this.
Yeah, come on, just out us.
How many more clues have we got to give
Just
you?
admit you were wrong. That's all you got to do. Just say, look, I was wrong about them. They're not who I said they were. This is who they are.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah. And even I still wouldn't see her as being credible because she should have known who we are by now, just by the hints, and people have told her.
What she knows is that
She
Barry
should have said it
Bigham,
from day one.
she knows Barry Bigham is a purchaser. She knows this, but
she does.
etymology, if you go back, etymology says that in 1743, purchaser meant paedophile.
Oh, is that what it means?
That's where it comes from.
Oh, that's what she meant to call us, purchasers.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't sound as bad now.
What is that?
No,
Was that cat?
Cat scratch.
No, that's blowing a coke, I think.
What were you calling? Line of coke. This has been fantastic.
Yeah, I've loved every minute, and I'm still enjoying it.
We did say we'd have a crack tonight. It was all about us being ourselves, people seeing us raw.
Yeah. We've gone from being really kind of intermittently professional to being just like really sat back and.
Is this setting a new presidency then? This is the new Team Bubba podcast.
If we do this again, I mean, you boys are welcome around here when you like, but you know, if we are going to do this on the odd occasion, what I'll do is I will contact our bosses, right, over at Langley, and I'll see if they can stump up a couple of more mics. And we'll get rid of this bloody great thing here, sat on this table.
Can we have a couple more cats in here because they're more fun?
Yeah, we'll invest in a couple of more spies.
Yeah.
And we'll get a proper mixer so we can do this a bit more professionally.
But do you reckon they'll sign that off?
Yeah.
I think they've got a bit of budget, haven't they?
I reckon they will. I'll send them an edited version of this podcast.
I think, yeah.
That'll be about 5 minutes long.
Summarise it. Oh, Christ.
Right, do you fancy just moving on from
Taking a piss out of Kim
and Thomas and all that shit?
Yeah.
And being not necessarily serious, but because I think if you're a little bit too serious about it, you'd want to throw yourself off a bridge. And that's probably the upcoming food shortages.
Oh, God.
Because it's coming.
Yeah. I think a lot of
it is coming. We know it is.
Yeah.
And there seems to be a bunch of people who seem to see it for what it is. And you've got people going to the supermarket and going, well, I can still get my Pop-Tarts. So everything's all right. Yeah. There's not a problem.
They see it as it is at the moment.
Yeah, but they don't see. But, I mean, when I go, I see empty shelves here and there. There are certain things that are there, certain things that aren't. When you go and I'll say to Mrs. Bigham, what do you want? And she'll say, oh, get some eggs. And we only buy organic eggs. Free range organic eggs. So we go, oh, there's no free range organic eggs. Why is there no free range organic eggs? Yeah, well, just get them. No, don't buy any then. And that's what I get. Whereas other people will go, well, I'll just buy next thing, which is your caged things, which we don't agree with.
Yeah.
There are shortages. Things are. I follow, as you know, Ice Age Farmer. And for over 12 months now, he's been saying that food shortages are coming. It's going to get worse. He's a farmer. I think he's based in Canada. And I remember one of the first major things that called me to him was him showing a video of an American farmer who was showing you what he'd been sent by the American government as to what crops he had to destroy. And it was a big folder, and it kept opening this folder and just showing you, I don't know whether it ended up on TikTok or somewhere. And if you think TikTok's shit, it's not. There are lots of videos put up that show you exactly what is going on. I'm only laughing because the cat.
I thought it was going to knock all the stuff over.
And it showed they'd marked certain fields from an aerial view of his land, what they wanted him to destroy. And they'd said, you've got to get rid of all of this land, the crops in this land, otherwise you won't receive the funding for next year. Mm-hmm. And that kind of blew me away. And it took me a short while, because no matter what you think, I'm not the most intelligent guy. I can process information, but when I look at something straight away, it doesn't process straight away. I don't go, yes, I understand that. I've got to have it for a few days at least.
Sit on it for a little bit.
Yeah. And then I look here and I'll look there and I'll put that with that, and I go, oh, hang on. And I'll draw this bigger picture from things, which I think some people who are in normal day-to-day life struggle to do. They'll go, I'll watch that program. Yes, that's true. I'll watch that program. Yeah, that's true as well. And that's all they do. They don't go, I'll watch both of them and I'll think about what they said and what they said. And hang on, they said something a little bit different to what they said.
Life isn't like that. People think life's black and white.
Yeah.
Generally, it's not.
Absolutely.
Life's grey with shades of black and white.
Yep.
There's a big difference.
You're bang on there.
Yeah.
And I think that's how they manipulate people. And I think there's so much, because I'm involved with data at work, people don't realise how much data is used. How much signing up for your Tesco, Asda, American supermarkets. I don't know of any. Do not come to mind. Walmart. Yeah, is it still exist that? Yeah. Right, bro. Yeah, those cards, and they go, oh, beep, brilliant. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, get 2% off. Fantastic. They don't realise that they've just said, this is everything I buy and this is what I do. They don't understand that what they've just given them is everything that they need to plan out your life and understand how you live your life. Because that is the whole thing about marketing. It's data.
Yeah.
Everything is about data.
Profiling everyone, yeah.
Absolutely. Mm. And you can take this to the police profiling. They get information and they run it through programs, and they can decide who is the most, the person that they think with this program will pop up and say, yeah, it's more than likely that person that did it. And that's what they want. So the data becomes really expensive then. So when you go onto a website and they say, would you like to continue and agree? Or would you like to just have a look at things? I've had a look at some where I go, no, I want to just check this. There's been some where there's over 300 websites that you're agreeing to. Oh, sorry, not websites, but cookies that you're agreeing to that share your data with whoever.
Yeah.
And you're just going to agree. And it's a bit similar. People need to start looking at...
I always reject all.
Yeah,
always.
I do, same. But they grind you down, because the next time you go on, it asks you the same question. Yeah. You've saved your preferences.
And sometimes they'll trick you. You'll go into the reject all, and then you'll only give you an option of accept all your choices.
Yeah.
But if you look, they're all ticked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you go,
they're so different, don't they?
Now.
Yeah.
And you're in.
And that's wrong. There should be some...
It's not clear enough, yeah?
Yeah.
Some of them you can't reject all.
Well, I just come out. Yeah, I just come out. If a website is saying that, it's not. Yeah. I don't want to look at it. I'm not interested. Unless I've got my VPN on. If I've got the VPN on, I'll agree to everything. Because...
But they say it's due to data protection. That's all, but really...
Well, the good old GDPR.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That is the one of the biggest... along with COVID, one of the biggest money-making schemes, ongoing schemes. Yeah. My company pay, is it hundreds? I think it's hundreds of pounds a year. I don't purchase this. I don't agree with it, but I do see the invoices that go through. for GDPR, you have to pay to be a member of the GDPR. Okay. Whether you have done everything, or whether you haven't done everything, or whether you've done nothing, you still have to pay this fixed fee every single year. So you look at how many businesses in this country, even if there's 1 million, even if it's £100 a year, and there's 1 million companies, that's £100 million that they've just invented.
Yeah.
For what? Because the company I'm with do not, like many others, control data information about their employees how they say they should. Nobody does. I don't know anybody, the companies I speak to, they know it's there, they pay the fee, and they don't follow it through. Because it's so much hassle. Far too much hassle. Data is massive. I look at data, I look at spreadsheets. This was going back to me and Mrs. Bigham when we first started off with the COVID thing. We both looked back and I went, we need to look at this. And she went, what do you mean? I went, the China data. We need to look at the China data. And she went, well, that started in November. And I went, yeah. And we're now talking March. So we've got 4 months of data. We need to look at that. I've looked at it. And she went, send it me. I sent it her. She sat on it and looked at it and she understood it. And she went, this isn't right. I said, they're making it out that everybody's dying. The data says not everybody's dying. People over 80-odd-year-old, yeah, they're dying because they die.
No bigger numbers than any other.
No. Yeah. So that's data. And the government, over the whole of this COVID business, have hidden data from us. They've said, yes, this department are going to do the data. Yes, well, this department now are doing the data now, not them. They're doing the data now. And do you know when we used to do flu data? Well, we're going to combine that with COVID data now. And do you know when we used to do just COVID and flu? Now we're just doing COVID data, not flu data now. And they've moved the goalposts all the time. And people just don't see it. They just go, they look up from Coronation Street or from their daily soaps and go, yes, that's how I do. That's awful, that. Oh. And they carry on.
Yeah. They don't
Why do they carry on? I don't get it. I honestly don't get it.
Lazy. You shouldn't accept it. You need to dig out. I mean, they didn't learn nothing, have they? That everything that's put on the news is theatre. Like you said, if you can't, they've got no pure data, or say, we're not telling you lies, look at the data. Because they know if you look at the data, it'll show that they're talking
an easy
bollocks.
way of covering their arse, yeah.
Because that's what they do. But no one's going to check it because no one checks data.
No.
They can't be, ain't got time, or they can't be bothered.
Silly, sad bastards like me check data.
No, well,
because you realise the importance of it. Most people are too wrapped up in the new thing. That's gone now.
Yeah, but even when you put it together and put it in front of people, they still won't look at it.
No. It's just the way you look at it. That's what the mistake is. I believe what it says on BBC.
Looking into it this last year, you'd be amazed to know how many people are out there that actually haven't got an internal monologue. Meaning, that voice that talks to you in your head that you have discourse with. I find this difficult to get my head around, but it's far more prevalent in society than you realise, and it explains why things are how they are. A lot of people haven't got an internal monologue. They literally haven't got one.
No.
There's people who've been asked and they've said, no, I don't think like that. I just do what everyone else does. I follow the hive mind and I go along with what other people do. And that's my safety valve. That's my way of thinking I'm going to be all right. I don't actually think about it myself. And I was like, what? So in your day-to-day life, you don't have a internal monologue. You don't actually think for yourself. You don't have a conversation in your own head. At least a lot of people say no. And I liken that to not having a soul.
Non-player character.
Yeah.
I was just going to say.
Well, that's what the NPC
That's another story, isn't it?
The Swamis, all the Swamis and the Hindus and that have a deep belief that there's too many bodies on the planet than there are souls.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's one of our biggest problems for me, because there's people out there who don't have an internal monologue, and for me that goes hand in hand with not having a soul.
Yeah. That's deep, though.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure myself whether it's about having a soul, whether it's having a. Thank you. Whether it's having a functioning soul. I think everybody's got a soul. I actually do. I like to look on the positive side of life. I think everybody's got a soul. I think some are more deeper than others. Being a believer of, it's difficult, isn't it? Because the minute you don't mention Jesus, the minute you mention God, the minute you don't mention God, people switch off. I'm a believer in reincarnation. I do believe that when you do diminish from this society, from this world, then you do either have a choice, because I don't know, because I don't remember being there yet. But when you do die, how you die here, I believe that you do come back to where you need to go next. Whether, I don't know if it's a choice or whether it is a decision that's made by somebody else or something else about where you are in your development, whether you need to come back. Like whether you would come back into, because I don't believe time. I don't believe time is as it is now. I think time is this could be really turn into a fucked up conversation. Mm-hmm. Whether you go back and because you've not learnt enough and you go back further and learn a little bit more that you missed out on.
That timeline again.
The first time you came around, you didn't learn enough.
Yeah.
So go back, whatever it is, 1,000 years, 500 years, you go back, you live a life, and then you figure it all out and you've learned a little bit more. So the next time you come a little bit further on. Or it's such a mindfuck, really, when you try and put it into words and try not to offend people.
Yeah.
Because there's so much conditioning with religion. I really struggle with it, talking to people about it. I've got beliefs. I've spoke to you about the globe thing today on the way down here. I felt so much more at mental peace since I've realised that certain things about how I think the world is. I can let things go and enjoy my life, and maybe it's because I was wrapped up in it a little bit. I don't know. I struggled with the lies that I saw about whether we went to the moon, whether the globe exists, whether the whole flat Earth exists as they say it does or doesn't. And there seems to be so much effort made into the world not being a globe. If you believe that, you're a mental case. But for me, if you believe it the other way, if you really look into it, if you believe it the other way, you've not done the work you should really do. Because the moment the penny dropped for me, it was like, wow. Exactly. If they could lie about that, what the hell else are they lying about?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. They lied about that. They lied about that. They're lying about everything. Our whole lives are a lie.
Our existences.
Absolutely. Everybody's existence is a lie. Now, for me, I can accept that, and I can take that on board, and I can process it, and I can figure out where I go from here. What am I going to do? Am I going to carry on living the lie? Absolutely fucking not. Do I fight against it? Not so sure yet. Do I voice my opinion? Absolutely, because I stand in my own power, and I will be. I don't care what anybody says.
Just being authentic to yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even with you guys here. Even if you sat here
we all have different
with me, and said
opinions on things, and that's healthy.
This non-globe shit you're talking out your arse. Absolutely, we'll sit and discuss it, and we'll take it from there. But I have idiots at work that come up to me and say, "Oh, you're that flat Earth twat," and I go, "Yeah, I've heard about you and all. You're that globy twat." Yeah, my arguments are a little bit better than yours. Discuss, and we sit and we. After 2 minutes, they will walk away because I've got so much more information than they have. Yeah. They've got a little spinny globe at school that they point stuff out on. I've got information that says lasers point in a straight fucking line for miles and miles and miles further.
To prove no curvature.
Absolutely. Yeah. But they go, yeah, you're talking shit. Yeah. And that's their argument. The people's argument is you're talking shit. But when you've got people who do the research and they really look into it, and luckily there are people, I'm not saying I've stood with a laser on the edge of a lake at sea level and pointed it 12 mile to another laser at the other side and said, that's flat. I haven't done that. Somebody's done that for me. But I can use the information that they've done to say, do you know what? I actually agree with that. That's undeniable, that.
Maybe both theories are true. Maybe there is a globe. And
yes.
we only... What we see as the globe is the only land that we're aware of.
Yeah.
Everything, we only... Remember, if you want to go anywhere in the world, you have to rely on someone to take you there. So if you want to go from here to Australia, you rely on a pilot that's already got mapped out lines to go this way or that way. But what if there is a flat Earth, but only in the land's mass that we're aware of, but really the globe is bigger and there's loads of little land masses around but we don't have access to. So basically the atlas that we've been told at school might have right, you say crazy this. Let's just say you've got like an ice wall around it and there's only certain people can go out of that. But that's one mass. But let's say there's 1,000 of those on a globe. Then you get the curvature if you want it, because it's bigger. But if it's smaller, then you would get a curvature. But for you to get a line, like you said, to fire that goes hundreds or even thousands of miles means it's bigger. The Earth is bigger than what they say it is, which means they're not telling us the truth. And I can't remember what it was. I've seen loads of flat Earth videos and I'm sitting on the fence. I do believe both theories. That's my personal belief, that there are loads of land masses around the globe, but we don't see it. Only the ones that know about it. Remember, like you just said, we've been told a hell of a lot of lies. But why isn't that one of the biggest lies?
So when you say people go outside the ice wall, what? People like Elvis?
Yeah, Elvis Island. No, but we've heard of the stories of Antarctica and the North Pole. There's certain places where you couldn't go there if you wanted to go there. You'd have to have special permission. Although someone say, oh yeah, but they filmed bloody Antarctica. Yeah, but how big is Antarctica? It's fucking massive. But what I'm saying is, for us to believe, right, that like you've got flat earthers there firing lasers and doing photographs and stuff and saying if there was a curvature like they've been told, you wouldn't be able to see the laser on the other end or someone catching it. That means it's either someone's telling a lie.
Yeah.
It's either the Earth is bigger than what it is, and if that's the case, we don't know all the landmass, do we? And we can't go there because you can't get in a boat, sail over to Antarctica because you'll get intercepted because you're not allowed to go there. Why? It's just ice. Why can't you go there?
Because there's a declaration of nearly all the countries on the world that says after Admiral Byrd went there and came back, they all got together and said, nobody's allowed to go here without everybody's permission. There are points on the Antarctic where people can go. It's not inland. It's all on the coast. You cannot get in. Scientists are allowed to go a little bit further,
fly over
but
Greenland,
it's still. It's the same with Greenland. Greenland is way smaller than they make it out to be. You look at the globe, and it's huge
on the map,
and it's tiny.
Yeah,
it really is tiny. Not tiny, but tiny. But this is the whole thing. Like the pigeonholers to blue and red, conservative, Democrat, flat Earth, globe.
Duality.
It's the two. Exactly. All across the time. All I've said, like what have I said tonight? I've said I am non-globe. I said that to you today. I am non-globe. It is not a globe. We are not spinning at
thousands of miles.
However, 37,000 miles an hour through space, like spinning, and also spinning all of us planets
throughout the universe
through with the sun spinning through space at however many millions of miles an hour. But yet, when you put a camera down and do a time lapse vertically, you get circular.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get that. You wouldn't get the same.
It goes like a figure of eight, doesn't it?
I don't even know if it does,
well,
because
that's what, the official narrative.
How can you look into space, what they call space? How can you look up and see the stars as what they say they are? I watched a video the other day, and it was brilliant. You would have hated it, mate. No, you might have found it quite enlightening, actually. It was, thank you. It was two people who work for NASA, and it showed a photo that they took from a telescope, a high-powered telescope, and it had, I don't know, what you could see without zooming in, from what you could see, they put on the screen, maybe 50 stars, 50 lights. They then said, and then what we do here is we add a filter, and we do this, and we colorise that, and we do this. And she said then that and it came up purple. Now that's a little bit too harsh, that. So what we do, we add a little bit of yellow into that. And the whole thing was, and she said, it's amazing what you can do in Photoshop.
Yeah.
The whole image was Photoshopped. It was a view of lights in the sky, and they sat there and Photoshopped your image. They put filters on it, which changed it. If you saw the image at the beginning, it was a black with...
I saw that video you posted, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
And at the end, there was like yellows and purples and that. And at the end, it was like, that's exactly what it looks like. And it's like, you've just made it what it looks like. That's not what it looks like. You've made that.
On the Antarctic thing, my particular feeling on that is the reason you don't want anyone going near the place. I think could be one or two things for me. And I think it's either the whole portals into the earth, north and south, where the two vortexes are. I think that could be two entrances into the earth. The other thing that it could possibly be, which tends to be my view, is that there's a hell of a lot of proof that we've been here for a long, long time, longer than what they're telling us. And I think it's becoming more apparent. Glaciers breaking up, things like that. It's starting to open up and start to show more and more hidden things within that ice due to ice ages and what we've had, different resets over time. And I think pretty sure now that we've been here for God knows how long, but thousands and thousands of years, at least longer than what they're telling us.
And maybe stuff that's very advanced as well.
Yeah, and I think that's why they don't want people going near Antarctica, because I think there's a lot of proof down there of from previous civilizations and stuff like that. I also think there's a lot under the sea. I think the sea is going to give a lot of answers to us going forward. However long that'll take, I don't know, but that's my feeling on it. I think, like for Atlantis, for instance, Atlantis, a previous really futuristic civilization, could have been submerged under the sea. I think it's in the Atlantic myself, and I think it's not too far away from us. A lot of people say it's near as yours. I don't. I think it's in the Atlantic, and I think it's not too far away from Ireland.
I was going to say that.
Yeah. And we're having, obviously, over time, I think all these resets and all these ways of trying to control us are kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's down to changes within the environment. Things have been buried, but then they'll resurface again. And I think that we're coming into a time where things are about to start resurfacing again. There's a lot of things that point towards that, and I think they know that's coming. And I think what they're trying to do is get a real desperate stronghold on humanity now, before it all starts to open up and things start to emerge out the water and from things like the ice. That's my personal feeling on that.
Could be, because, you know, a lot of the kind of like Tartaria thing going into that now is that, remember all the photographs that were taken of empty cities? I think Moscow was one of them. They said that this was taken during the day, always in the 1850 or whatever it was. And they were said that this was a city, we were told, that had 5 million people in it. St. Petersburg or whatever. And they said that it was empty, but someone was up in a balloon or something taking this shot. And back then, photography from a balloon, not the greatest, but it looked clear that there was nobody there. And there was someone had done a video about all the cities around the world from around about the 1840s upwards to like 1880. All these world cities were empty. So maybe cities submerge or whatever, they'll start appearing, and that's maybe where it comes from. Because to me, there's something that needs to be looked at. How can you say everybody, right, stay indoors, I'm taking a picture? 5 million people.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of awesome carts going past and things like that.
The only thing with Russia was it was under heavy communism and at that time.
But
those
who've examined that photo, one of the photos that I know you're talking about, they've talked about shadows cast from the street lights, from the posts that are up and the trees that are there. They're saying that this was done at around about dinner time, around about midday. So what you show me a city that will be empty at midday.
Yeah.
Unless you have something similar
to a lockdown.
Yeah.
That'd be it.
It could be that.
That's a manipulated.
But then they go into the next stage and they start looking at the structures of the buildings. And we spoke about this. Some of these things are monstrous buildings, massive. You know, we look at in Cologne Cathedral, and these people around the time it was being built had horse and cart.
Yeah, primitive tools almost.
How can you build these? And they're absolutely. I've been there today. I've not been inside, but I went right up to that Cologne Cathedral, and it is. I've never seen anything as big as that in my life.
Yeah,
it's massive. And you look at the blocks of stone. It take 2 or 3 men to lift one of those into position.
Yeah,
and then you've got all the carvings. I'm sorry, but you class that as a cathedral for a religious person. Who's funding that? And they'd never lived their life out to see it built. So why would you put all that effort in to say it's going to take like 100 years? I think York Minster took 100 years or whatever, didn't it?
But you know what?
Did you watch Liverpool Cathedral?
They were actually doing that 5,000 years ago, you know. Silbury Hill.
Yeah.
Well, Silbury Hill took over 100 years to construct. And there was people who'd begun that would never have ever seen its end. Exactly,
but then who would benefit from that? Who would benefit from that? Because someone's got to put the money forward. You've got. Let's just stick to like the UK, for instance, like York Minster or whatever. For the whole of that 100 years to build it, you've had loads of politicians in and out, and goodness me, they're pulled grants all the time, even today. You'll get a new, say, Labour in next one, and they'll say, we're not putting money into that. They'll put it. So who's said no, we're going to finish this. And it's gone through decades. And so many people in power. Someone's going to say, I'm sorry, I ain't putting money in that shit.
But the church paid, didn't they? And you know what they're being capable of.
I get what you're saying, but to me, this...
And they wanted to put stat landmarks on certain energetic nodes around the planet.
I just see... That's just the outside. But then when you go in and you see the complex things inside, you think, hang on a minute, you're making it so complex. People going in there to do a service, why would you make it so why does it look so beautiful and intricate? And you put all this time into that when it's just for some people to come in and worship, when you could do exactly the same thing with a tiny and build 50 of those in that time.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it.
You'd say it was like it was a statement of power, wouldn't you? You know, and control, and you know, it creates a thing within somebody to just submit to it and just admit that that's bigger than I'll ever be, kind of thing. You know, it's like it's a way of cementing that power and control and size, colossal size. It's a symbology.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I just see it being so powerful, like the skill.
I've been to like St. Paul's Basilica and places like that, and they're amazing. The Egyptian pyramids, for God's sake, you know. That was another one, but I think that's a lot of that was built in other ways that we're no longer savvy to.
Yeah,
I think there was construction techniques that they had going back.
But we couldn't repeat that today
because all that's been taken away from us, our innate powers that we have.
There's too many questions, isn't there?
Well, they say there's one theory says that they used harmonics to lift all them stones and bring them from miles away, and frequencies.
Which in churches have organs.
And that's the orchestra.
They could have lifted that. Yeah.
Doing all that.
Yeah.
With the two dowsing rods.
I do believe that, I think the story we've been told, what I'm trying to get at with these buildings is that they weren't built with primitive buggies and pulleys. They were built with stuff that were being held back from us today.
Can I just say,
Middle Ages.
Liverpool, I watched the Awarenon.
Oh, what, the cathedral?
Yeah, when we were talking about Liverpool Cathedral, because he went there and he was saying, there's no way that this was built. And then he looked into it more and he realised that it was documented that there were chiselling and structural buildings, and they made
stonemason,
and there's families that are still saying, he was there for 12 hours a day and he was doing that, and that's what made him rethink what he'd said initially, so that can't have been done. But then he realised that it could have been done, so it changed his view on things, didn't it?
Yeah.
The last few videos we've done have been brilliant, because he put out that series that said that calls it all into question, and then he looked at it a little bit more, which is good, because like we've been talking about it today, you've got to go back and look at what you've learnt.
And if you've made a mistake,
go back and just look and say, hang on, I remember this. Do I still feel the same way? Or watch it again, or look at it again, research it all again, and go, there's nothing wrong with going, do you know what? I was wrong.
See this with fresh eyes now. That's quite what I thought it was, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I've been looking into monoliths and megaliths quite a lot. I'm going back in time, just around the British Isles, and you can go back 10, 20,000 years. I mean, you've got Göbekli Tepe now, it's being excavated. Things are just getting older all the time. Graham Hancock always says that. Things keep just getting older, and they are. There's things now proven carbon dated 25,000 years old.
He's one that they can't deny. He's one that he's always there, isn't he? And for me, anything he says, anything he does, that's proof of things. That's proof of history, that.
Yeah.
I just wish he'd come over to big cities and do similar work, because he's got the big history of historical sites. It'd be good if he came over and put that in architectural.
Yeah, well, there's some good people
work.
doing it. Like there's a good site you could look at. Megalithomania is a good one. That's in the UK, and they've done a load on all the different megaliths and monoliths around the country.
It's not a touch.
And you're talking at least 5,000 years old. And apparently at that time, we were just savages in loincloth, bit back before then. But supposedly at the time when they said we were savages using primitive tools, there's pottery, for instance, being found from the same time, which we couldn't make today. It's just so intricate and amazing, and certain tools that have been found as well, that just, there's no way that we could even make them now. And we were supposed to have been primitive savages then. It just don't add up.
And you can't just have a few people that are very highly skilled. You mean nearly everyone had to be skilled, because there was so much of this like pottery and things. I've seen that.
Just artifacts in general and that.
You couldn't get anyone. Sorry, you couldn't find anybody in a large scale that could make so much pottery and be. That means everyone's an artist.
You can go into the giant theory as well, and there's a lot more and more coming out now to say that there was really giants around. Giant humanoids, I'm talking about over 10 foot. One of the theories that I tend to believe more is, at that time, there would have been massive environmental changes, because about 11,000 years ago, we had the Younger Dryas and all the floods and everything like that, all the tide rising, things submerging, tectonic plates moving, all that kind of stuff. And what they reckon is there was a gravitational change in the atmosphere on the planet, and because of that, the giants started to die out quite quick because of the gravity. It was too much, didn't suit them.
Right.
Because they were giants, the huge lungs and everything, and the gravity changes in the environment basically have slowly wiped out the previous civilization of giants.
Do you think that?
So if there was huge giants,
the non-giants,
people that they're scouting 10, 20 foot beasts,
right,
strong, maybe.
Sounds like Naked Gun, doesn't it?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe using 90% of the brain capacity. You know what I mean? Far different to what we are. Yeah. They would have been able to build these constructions.
So looking at that, what you just said, the theory of that is that there were giants around, but there was also normal size.
We just heard all that, Baz. Baz just had a slash.
Kind of live and cohabit.
Yeah. So have you noticed that a lot of buildings had big doors and small doors?
That's right.
And everyone ever answered this, said, well, why did they build? Oh, because there's this thing about power. No, there's something else. There must have been giants.
I think we were previously.
Why would you build massive doors?
I do tend to think that we were previously giants, and that due to environmental changes, and that they say that the gravity changed, and it very quickly killed off the giants.
They did that film, didn't they?
In that gravity.
Was it Matt Damon, where they shrink people? There's a really good film, Matt Damon, and what happens is him and his wife, they said there's this new thing that people are struggling with money, but what they'll do is they say, if you go through this process where we shrink you down to like, I don't know, maybe matchstick size, there's a city and a world where you can live in that. When you sell your house, you'll be millionaires, and you can have swimming pools, because everything's really small, like a Wendy house, yeah? So you micro-sized everything. So what happens is, I don't know how far I can go this because it might spoil it, but Matt Damon and his wife go to this clinic and they go for, we're going to do it. And then Matt Damon goes to the other side, gets transported to this place, and his wife's not there because she's changed her mind.
Yeah.
And he's pissed off, and they have this special communication where you can... What happened? Why aren't you doing it? And she said, I changed my mind. He goes, you bastard, there's no way back for me. Yeah. So he's left in this little micro city.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, it's something like that, but it's brilliant. You want to watch it. It's great. It's kind of similar to what I was kind of feeling is that you've got these giant people for everybody on the planet. They said, we're going to have to make everyone small. So that if you want, imagine you've got a chicken, it's bloody massive. You're like one of its toes. So there's more food for everyone because you only need one chicken to like feed the whole bloody city.
Yeah,
that's what it was. It was quite good.
That's what I mean. People don't take in certain other factors. You say that's not possible. We couldn't build those buildings. Well, if human 1.0 with 10, 20 foot super beings with a massive brain capacity, who had other powers, they could lift stones with the brain power and whatever.
Makes sense.
Then
you'd need four people to lift giants to lift these massive rocks, but it wouldn't
be such a big task, would it? You know what I mean? It wouldn't be, would it?
There's definitely, that's the whole idea, is that if we're throwing all these theories, it's because we know what we're being told doesn't make sense. So there's got to be something else. And what we all think is all different, which is really good. Because we're not all on the same sheet when it comes out. We all respect each other. Yeah. But going back to you mentioned earlier on about the Earth spinning and everything else, but the moon doesn't spin.
You'll hear it.
No.
Do you know?
I really want to listen to you have a piss. I've never wanted more to listen to somebody else have a piss other than me.
He's reenacting the Naked Gun. Where's in?
I reckon we should be... Go on, where you go, son?
Yeah, so everything spins.
Quiet. Yes, we'll be quiet.
If he's closed the door, so you can't hear it.
Oh, bastard.
You will be out here.
Just be quiet. No, he's not as loud as Bazza.
There's some force behind mine.
Bazza was like a jet wash.
Went for ages. Sorry.
Yeah, but he said everything spins, everything moves, but they say the moon doesn't. So I'm going, oh, minute. Why is that? Because it's fixed in this like gravity. I'm sorry, but it wouldn't. Why is the bloody moon doesn't spin? It moves around, but it doesn't spin. It's always the same face of the moon. And I've never been told. And
I go on Facebook every single day, right? Obviously, because everybody does. But on Facebook, because I've partaked in conversations in these kind of groups. It comes up on my feed a lot now, where like these scientists and space, there'll be this picture saying, this is the NASA's most recent picture of the seventh moon of Saturn, and there's this amazing picture, and I just laugh, and I'll, but you guys, oh, such a joy coming onto this page every single day. You cheer me up every single day, because you can't do that. They've admitted they've lost the technology to go to space, to go to the moon. But yet they're saying that they've sent little things out into space, and now they go past Saturn. And when they're flying past Saturn at thousands of miles an hour, they go, and that's your high resolution picture. And they go,
and it sends it back as well.
And it takes years to come back. And they go, this is the new picture. And everybody goes, oh, amazing. In space, amazing. And you go, hang on, isn't this the same space where on the moon they had a phone call on a landline to the President of America? Hello? Yes, welcome. Thanks for landing on the moon.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, but in fairness...
What the fuck?
They didn't call that phone direct. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't the official thing, wasn't that they'd sent, that they phoned that phone. That was technology that was sent to, obviously that was just made to look like he was answering the phone. That was for like presidential purposes. If you look into that, the actual official narrative of that wasn't that they called Nixon. It was President Nixon, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I couldn't remember his name.
They didn't ring him on that
biggest crook American
phones,
president going.
That's what he had, wasn't it? It was like a bat phone. They were never saying that. It was just always made to look that he was answering the phone.
It's very similar to the...
Because that'd be crazy, wouldn't it? A landline.
Absolutely, of course. Just like the space module that landed on the moon, taking off and them filming it as it took off.
And landing.
Oh, there's loads of dodgies on all that. You know, when you look at the footage of them on the moon and that, and all the different stuff.
And it looks like really flimsy, like tin foil.
Have you ever?
Absolutely.
How the hell is that?
Tin foil.
With all that frost it would take to get off, it just...
Have you ever heard the audio of
and the footprint
when they say about the noise coming from the dark side of the moon? The humming, buzzing sound. I found that interesting. Like, not I'm saying I believe it, but I do find, I always wonder if there is a real construct. I'm not saying
this is the thing, you see. I love these discussions because, and we've always said that because of my views on this, and we've discussed this about my views. I've shared stuff with you because, like I said to you today, Billy, on the way down and I think you as well today, that me realising that it's not a globe spinning through space the way that they say it is. It's not a flat Earth. Definitely, it's not a flat Earth. It's just not what they're saying it is. It's not. And that freed me up totally to just understand other things. And I don't mean, like I said earlier, that, the lying, what else is lying about? Yeah. No, it's just, I can now look at the world with different eyes. I'm not, what word am I looking for here? I'm not held back by my views on things. I can look things beyond that now because I know that what they're saying is a load of shit. So I can actually consider.
You can't really say what it is, but you can say what it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can also look at other things and go, I actually don't think that's what you're saying it is either. And I wonder if it's this. So you can look at other possibilities without being held back by the beliefs of what you are told in school, university. Like you go to university. When you come out of university with a degree, or whatever they call it in America, when you come out, you are basically shown that you can learn what you are told. It doesn't mean you're intelligent. It doesn't mean you understand anything. It just means that you can parrot what you were told. Because you are told things, like with all exams, you're told things, and you are asked questions on what you've been told.
Just good repeater, aren't you?
Yeah. Do you remember being told this? Yes, I do. Do you remember this? Yes, I do. Well done, you've passed. That's all exams are.
Yeah.
And that's how, for me, how it all works.
So remembering someone else's notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like parroting what someone like Tiny or Kim says.
Yeah. And that's what it all comes round to. I was trying to bring it around to it being all that, where if you sit and listen to somebody long enough, like if you've sat and listened to 3 hours and 38 minutes and 59 seconds of this, there's no help for you. You're on your own.
There is no one there. No one is listening to us.
I've got faith. I have faith in these people. They've stuck with us.
Yeah.
But Tiny and Kim and all those kind of people, the Drakes, the people we've all been involved with, they managed to get these people to sit with them for so long. Even your David Icke's. And we've always thought, David Icke, he helped a lot of people come out and to understand things. And he did. But I think he's gone far too far. To have people for 10, 12 hours in his shows that he does, that's indoctrination.
It's too much.
Yeah.
That is total indoctrination, that. You will listen to me. I will stand
sit
here
there and listen to that for so long.
Absolutely.
Your brain will go.
Yeah, and with all these cults do exactly the same thing. Yeah. Coming to us, we'll show you how it all is.
Yeah.
But those cults don't charge you.
It's not. No one's like that, are they?
Not yet. They take you in.
Yeah.
And you go and you yes, I'll listen to you. And 19 hours later, you're like that, and they're going 5. 2 and 2 is 5, and you go 2 and 2 is 5. But when he's going £70, 2 and 2 is 5, and they go 2 and 2 is fucking 5, bastards. It's the same thing, just slightly different manipulation of the human psyche, I think.
Isn't it? When you look at it that way.
Yeah.
There's no difference to the sheeple that are out there lapping up.
No, it's just on the level
and stuff, isn't it? Same thing. And we all see that now.
Right, boys, I think we need to wrap this up.
You're flagging.
I thought we were going to do it 12 hours. I thought you was hitting 12 hours then, Buzzer. I thought, well,
I went on for it.
Yeah, you'd be up all night, you would. I'm normally bloody getting up in about 2 hours' time.
Yeah.
Right.
What? Bloody hell.
It's
Quick.
12. What's up with you?
Yeah, we need to have a bit of a wind down before we...
That's right.
And then I'll get up half an hour later.
And the curry's going to start brewing up in a minute. And it's going to sound great on this. I've already just done one.
So, if there is anyone out there who is still with us,
go down the rabbit hole, but not so far that you can't feel the sun on your own ass.
yeah. But if there is anyone still left listening, just give her a comment and we'll put you on a Christmas card list or something, because it's only got to be about one if we're lucky.
I've got to say, Star, for that, if you've listened all the way through, you're part of something really special, because this has been coming for a long time. We've got 4 guys here who are so connected, who are so part of each other, and have been for a long time.
Years and years and years now.
Yeah, this is monumental for me. I missed out on this last year. Yeah. Totally missed out. Gutted.
Better late than never.
Yeah.
We do it more.
That's right.
Yeah.
You was there in spirit, mate. Definitely.
I think next time we should go for a lunchtime curry. Don't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do a 6-hour one then.
Yeah.
we should do a podcast in the curry house.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
What? I'd have that weird guy that's...
Oh, the Pixie guy, you see?
Alex Kidd.
Alex Kidd.
Right, boys. I think we'll wrap this up now because we'll get the old kettle on, shall we?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
It does.
Run out of
Get
beers.
the old kettle on. So yeah, for the one person, if you're still out there, still listening, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to
You are a star. So yeah, that'll do for us. God knows when we'll do another one of these, but it definitely won't be the last.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Hit the like button, share it, get on to all your friends. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe.
Got another curry to pay for.
Got another curry. Yeah, we'll have another curry in about 6 months' time. And get on to your THI friends and Life Force friends, and just ask them to have a look at all the faces who were in there a year ago, and you'll see they're all gone. What did that tell you? Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Take care.
Now, where the hell do we hit the off button?